Have you ever found yourself saying thank you, but what you really want to say is, how did it get this bad? You're
Yeah.
not alone.
Happens to the best of us.
We're taking a deep dive today into a really powerful concept,
Hmm.
shukr. It's about gratitude in Islam, but we're not talking about surface level please and thank yous.
Right, right.
It's much deeper than that.
Definitely.
We're looking at a lecture that analyzes a Quran verse all about this idea of shukr.
Okay.
It talks about finding real gratitude even when things are tough. And this isn't just for one religion or anything. It's definitely a human thing we all struggle with.
Yeah, totally. When we're talking about shukr in Islam, it's about acknowledging, truly acknowledging all the blessings that God gives us. But it's not passive. It's not just, oh yeah, thanks for that. It's really actively remembering him through those blessings,
Right, okay.
which ultimately brings you closer to the divine. So it's an active practice.
So it's a practice. Okay, that makes sense. But how do you actually do that when you're surrounded by challenges?
Yeah.
The source we're looking at today, it doesn't sugarcoat it.
No,
It
like,
straight up says the world is full of provocations, negative experiences, losses, unpleasant situations. I mean, come on, who needs more of that?
yeah. That's where wisdom comes in.
Okay.
You see, because true shukr, it's not about just smiling and pretending everything's perfect.
Right.
It's about cultivating this deeper understanding, a wisdom that allows you to see those challenges through a different lens.
So it's not about just going through the motions, but a
Yeah.
real change in how we see things.
Exactly. Exactly. It's about recognizing that even those hard things are part of God's plan, a
Yeah.
divine design. God gave us free will.
Right.
And, that's going to come with some bumps in the road. Yeah.
Right, that makes sense.
But that doesn't mean those bumps are bad.
Okay.
Think of it like rain.
Okay.
Rain can cause these horrible floods, but it also nourishes life,
Yeah?
right? It's a part of the same natural process. So conflict is kind of like that. It's part of the design, even if it's hard sometimes.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So are you saying that those challenges, those bumps, they're actually opportunities for us to grow?
Yeah, you got it. It's about reframing those experiences that maybe our first instinct is to label them as negative.
Mm-hmm.
But here's where it gets really interesting. The source talks about something called shaitan's tricks and how that plays into all this.
Shaitan's tricks.
Yeah.
Now that got my attention. What is that all about?
So in Islam, shaitan, who you might know as Satan, basically tries to tempt people to be ungrateful.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest tools is he messes with how we see things. Think about it. When you start getting negative, and you're just focused on what's wrong and you're spiraling,
Yeah.
that could be shaitan whispering in your ear, trying to cloud your judgment, steer you away from shukr.
So he's trying to sabotage our ability to see the good and be grateful.
Yeah, you could say that. And he's sneaky about it, always waiting for those moments when you're already feeling down, vulnerable. That's when it's easiest to fall into the trap of complaining, blaming, and we forget about all the good things.
Wow. Okay. That's a pretty powerful thought. It makes you realize that there's a lot more going on than we realize that meets the eye.
Yeah.
But if he's so good at these tricks, how do we fight back? So if this shaitan is always kind of lurking, trying to make us ungrateful, how do we ever stand a chance?
Yeah.
How do we actually find that real lasting shukr, even with all the tough stuff we go through?
It's a good question. And it's really what this is all about. It's not about pretending the hard things aren't there.
Right.
It's about facing them, but with wisdom, choosing to see them differently. And the lecture we're talking about, it actually gives us some ways to do that.
Okay, yeah, because a game plan here would be great.
Right. So it starts with awareness. Whenever you're dealing with something difficult, it doesn't matter how big or small. First thing, hit the brakes. Don't just jump into all those reactions we have.
Oh, you mean like the blame, the anger, all that?
Exactly. Yeah, all that. Just stop for a second.
So you're saying create some space before you react.
Yes, exactly. That pause, that's awareness. That's where you can see shaitan messing with you, those whispers trying to pull you down, And when you see it, you realize, oh, I have a choice here.
It's like you realize somebody's been playing you and then you get your power back.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Instead of letting those thoughts control you, you can choose something else. You can choose wisdom.
Okay, so we pause, we realize what's going on, and then what? How do we actually use wisdom in that moment?
Instead of just getting stuck on the problem itself,
Yeah.
try to see the bigger picture. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Or even how can this help me grow?
So it's about looking for the good, and then seeing the good. even when it's hard.
Yes, you got it. Looking for the good, the positive explanation, even if you can't see it right away. Remember that rain analogy.
Yeah,
Sometimes you can't appreciate the rain until after the storm passes, right?
it's true.
Challenges are like that, even if they're painful. They can make you stronger, more resilient, help you understand yourself and the world better.
This is really making me think because you hear so much about gratitude,
Right.
right? But this shukr thing with wisdom and gratitude together, it's like way deeper, more, I don't know, more useful.
And that's what's so cool about it. It's not just a feeling, It actually changes how you experience life, good and bad.
So it's not just a feeling, it's what you do, it's how you live.
Exactly. And anything you practice takes time to learn, right? We're not going to be perfect at it tomorrow.
Yeah,
There'll be
no.
days when you mess up, when those negative thoughts are really loud. Shaitan's really working overtime. But you got to keep practicing. Keep choosing awareness and wisdom. Trust that the more you do it, the better you get at Shukr.
I like that. It's encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's okay to stumble, you're still making progress. It makes you wonder, though, what difference does it actually make in the long run? I mean, besides feeling better for a minute, how does it actually change things? It feels like this shukr thing, putting gratitude with wisdom, it could really change things. But how? Like, besides just feeling better for a bit, what real impact does that have on us?
That's the heart of it, right? It's not some temporary thing. It's about lasting change. When you really get Shukr, it changes how you act, how you deal with stress, even how you are with other people. It gets into everything.
So less about faking it till you make it, more about a real change inside that changes how you see the world outside.
Yeah, totally. It's like imagine going into every situation, even the hard ones, and you've got this feeling of thankfulness underneath it all. Like even if it's tough, there's still good there. That changes everything. Instead of being overwhelmed, you start seeing how you can grow, what you can learn, even feeling closer to God because of it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But how do we do that? Talking about is one thing, but how do we actually live this shukr stuff every day?
That's the question, right? Think about your own life. Just one thing that's going on where you could try this out. Could be a relationship that's rough, something going wrong at work, even just feeling blah. Stop and think, are those negative thoughts sneaking in? And instead of letting them take over, use that wisdom and gratitude. Ask yourself, what can I learn here? Is there even one tiny good thing I can focus on right now? That's how it starts.
Like, we're being handed this tool, this shukr,
Yeah.
but it's up to us to use it. And the more we use it, the better it works. It's a practice,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
Choosing to be grateful even when it's the last thing you feel like.
That's it. And that's what makes it so powerful. We're not just along for the ride in our own lives. We get to decide. Choose a different way to see things, one that's more grateful and fulfilling.
It's like, even with all the challenges, the lecture even said it, all the provocations, negative experiences, losses, all that, they're still good to be found.
Mm.
And when we tap into that shukr, it changes us. And not just us, but people around us too.
It's true, like a ripple effect. You choose gratitude, you choose to see the good, and it spreads out, changes your thoughts, your actions, your whole world. So go for it. Embrace Shukr. You might just surprise yourself with what happens.
I love that. It's a great reminder that even when things are tough, there's always something to be grateful for. And by choosing gratitude, by choosing shukr, we can change our whole perspective and maybe even change the world a little bit, one grateful moment at a time.